So how this inspiration comes to you is you need to have a certain strength and confidence and an ability to deal with the situations. And once you overcome the obstacles, see, in everybody's life, there are struggles, there are challenges, and there are problems which you need to solve. How you overcome these things decides how far you can reach in your life. And once you overcome these challenges, then you can inspire others. You can set an example. So, with the practice of yoga, one certainly gains clarity, strength, confidence, vigor, and the necessary resilience. So, you become inspiring and kind of yogi. So, now when we talk about becoming a yogi, becoming a person of inspiration, originality, gentleness, and youthfulness, how do you go about it? We talked a lot about clarity and alignment. So, yoga is a science and methodology of aligning yourself to this geometry of creation in such a way that you function at your best possible way. So, how do you do that? There are many methods in yogic systems, there are many methods, but the one that is most useful and widely practiced world over is the one given by Patanjali. Of course, you must have heard of the name Patanjali, the brand name Patanjali, because when we type in yoga, the name Patanjali will come out. Even if you type Patanjali in Google, a certain company's name will come out. So, yes, he is known as the founder of the Yoga Darshana. See, founder of Yoga Darshana, not the founder of yoga. He compiled the practices that were going on since ancient times for people to master their lives. He codified them in the sutras and made it available for the people so they can use these sutras and achieve what they want in their life or set higher goals and achieve them. So in few minutes we will try to see what exactly is this Patanjali Yoga Sutras and how we can apply this sutra system of yoga in our life so we can march forward on our path. So Patanjali gave Ashtanga Yoga. His system of yoga, the mechanism of practice that is given in the system of yoga by Patanjali is known as Ashtanga Yoga. So that is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Mostly when we say yoga, the picture that comes in our mind is somebody getting into a body posture. Most of the times it is difficult, and when we see that posture we think yoga is not for us. Or somebody holding their breath in certain way we call as pranayama. These things have become famous. Yes, they are very integral part of yogic system, but they are just two limbs of the Ashtanga yoga system. Rest of the limbs, how do you begin on the path of yoga? It doesn't matter who you are in the world. You have a social life, you have a personal life, and then when we ask you who are you, except your name, not your designation, not your salary, not your surname, who are you? Many things might come in your mind, but essentially you are your body, your mind, your emotions and your energy. A condition, a complex mechanism which has these all four aspects integrated in one single unit is what we call as ourselves. So all these Ashtanga yoga methods, they, if we apply these methods on these four aspects of who we are, body, mind, emotions and energies, then we can raise ourselves to our peak performance, which is highly needed in today's competitive world. So how do we go about these things? The very first thing is, as I said, the first limb of yoga is yama. Yama is how socially you should be behaving. See, Patanjali is very clear about how a yoga practitioner should be. He's considering everybody who is living a social life. Yogi doesn't mean you're living somewhere on top of the mountain. Yes, of course, that is a part of some higher practices of yoga, but someone who is living a normal life and wants to practice a yoga, he has given the guidelines. The first one is yama. So he discusses 5 yamas. Yama means social rules. So ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya and aparigraha. These five yamas have been prescribed by Maharshi Patanjali. So the very first thing is ahimsa. The word ahimsa translates as non-violence. Again, this himsa can be on three levels. See, physical himsa is there, then there is mental himsa, and then there is energy level himsa. So, as far as possible, one should restrain from indulging or supporting violence of any kind. The kind of world that we live in today, especially the situation, war-like situation going everywhere around, I need not tell you the importance of ahimsa. Those who fall in the trap of the war, their families and the society and the nation and even the world at large, so many things, not just on the physical level but on financial and business level, on so many levels, on mental, emotional level, so many atrocities get conducted once there is a violence. See, himsa is not just violence or not just war. As I said, the mental himsa is thinking ill about somebody. So as far as possible, if you cultivate that attitude of ahimsa towards not just human beings but all the living creatures, that includes the soil, these plants, birds, animals, all the ecosystem towards us, do minimum harm. See, in one single sentence, if we have to apply ahimsa, do minimum harm as far as possible, because everybody lives in different situations. We cannot just blindly induct you into, say, there is a life threat to you and I'm not telling you to abide by ahimsa. So it's your choice, it's up to you, it's up to your conscience, but do minimum harm. That's one sentence ahimsa. Then the next one, the next yoga practice under the yama, Patanjali has described as satya. Satya means truthfulness. See, it's very easy when we, in our daily lives, if we start speaking the fake news is one of the bigger aspects of spreading fear in society. Not just fake news, but if we start faking our identity, if we start faking our personality, if we start faking our achievements, that's what has been happening on large levels in all sections of society. We get entangled into so many situations, and then you have to keep a track of what are all the false things that you have spoken all throughout your life, so that you don't get trapped into those things. So be truthful as far as possible. If you speak truth, what you speak becomes true. This is what has been written in Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So live a truthful life. The efforts that you have put, accordingly the results you will get. Now there is an exam. Let's say there is an online exam. You are sitting at your home and writing down a paper. You are not studied throughout the year, but you are keeping a subject book in such a way that you are not getting caught and writing down the paper. So is that considered as practice of truth? No, that's not. So in so many ways, in simple examples of our life, as far as possible, if you follow truthfulness, that gives a certain level of confidence to you. See, someone who speaks truth, someone who lives truthfully, is confident because he's not under any pressure to cover up something that is not true or that is not a reality. So as far as possible, practice truthfulness. Then there is asteya. We need not tell. There is law, there is police system, and there is everything is in place. Asteya means non-stealing, non-plagiarism. Non-stealing doesn't just mean you a pickpocketer or you steal someone's money or you rob someone's someone's house or something. See, ahimsa, satya, asteyam. As non-stealing means not even copying something. Not even nowadays we see people getting higher degrees and all those things. You copy somebody's material. Even if you listen to a music song nowadays, I was just hearing the song with my friend, and he said there was a Hindi song, and he said, "Yeah, I have heard this song in Armenia." I said he had just returned from foreign country. He said, "In Armenia, in our country, this is a very famous song." Now this comes under plagiarism. Plagiarism comes under steya. So asteya means live by your own nature. Do not steal anything. Do not show your control over that which does not belong to you. In simple language, mind your own business. That's what comes under asteya. Ahimsa, satya, asteya. Then there is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya in our context can be translated as living a dedicated life. See, all these Yoga Sutras, they have very different meaning as well. But as far as we are concerned, at this moment, we should take the meanings that are useful to us. In for Brahmacharya, living a dedicated life, living for a purpose. Once you identify what is the purpose of your life, giving full dedication, full efforts, and living by the principles which can lead you towards the success in whatever the purpose that you have set up, that can be considered as brahmacharya. You are a student, your purpose is cracking the exams, achieving higher grades, and in turn getting into a good career. So you must be dedicated towards that. You're running a business, your purpose is different. You're a housewife, your purpose is different. You're an employee of the company, your purpose is different. Whatever is the purpose of everyone's life, you're a spiritual practitioner, there is a different purpose. So whatever is the purpose, living a dedicated and devoted life to that purpose and giving your 100% comes under brahmacharya. Ahimsa satya asteya brahmacharya, and then there is aparigraha. See, parigraha means gathering things. Right now we are living in the world that on your palm, in your mobile handset, you have all these websites, online shopping. Even if you go out in the mall, there is window shopping. Once you enter into a mall, deciding that you need to buy these five things, and when you come out of the mall, you see that you have bought at least 20 things. Half of them you may never use in your life. So we live in such a world, consumerism, that's what we call it. And aparigraha means living life by the principles of minimalism. Minimalism means whatever is useful, whatever is needed to your life, you must have it. Need and greed, understanding the difference between need and greed. If you do certain retrospection on what are the needs of your life and what is that which is not really useful, but you're trying to pursue that at all costs, not just to yourself but to your family, to your friends, to your career, to your finances, and all these things. So understanding the difference between need and greed and keeping your life in such a way that it will elevate your consciousness comes under aparigraha. So these five yamas, see, these are all related to social life, how you should live externally. So a yoga practitioner should consider these things. Then comes a niyama. The word niyama, everybody must be knowing what niyama means. Niyama exactly means, yes, niyama is a rule, it's a personal conduct. Now you are in a college, there is a niyamavali, there is a certain set of rules that you need to follow. If you enter into a court, there is a certain set of rules you need to follow in the court. You enter in a different place, there is a certain set of rules. So everywhere there are niyamas. Similarly, for a yoga practitioner, you can be anybody in your life. As I said, you can be a student, you can be a businessman, you can be a lawyer, you can be a professor, you could be anybody. But in your personal life, if you want to imbibe the principles of yoga, as a niyama, certain principles you need to follow. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhana. These five principles have been described. Shaucha means cleanliness. I don't need to really tell you about the importance of cleanliness. Keep things clean. In simple language, keep yourself clean, taking daily bath, keeping your environment clean, keeping the society clean. Wherever you go, not just environment or your body or the society, but keeping your thoughts clean is also important. So all these things comes under shaucha. Then the next one is santosha. Santosha means contentment. A yoga practitioner should practice contentment. See, as we discussed, once there is an integrated personality, once you don't feel that you are alone, whatever is in your hands, you give out. In the result, what comes, it is dependent on so many factors. So if you have given your 100%, you should be contented. So throughout your daily life, throughout the day, everybody plays different roles. Early in the morning, maybe you're with your family, you're playing the role of a parent or a son or a girl or a daughter or anybody. There is something that is expected. As I said, demand and supply, we spoke. Something is expected out of you. If you give 100% to your capacity, then you enter into college. Let's say you're a student, something is expected out of you. You give 100%, you're writing an exam. Once you give your 100% in anything that you are doing, whatever is the outcome, you need not worry about it. You should be satisfied. The practice of contentment is very important. Whatever is in your hands, you must do it. Whatever is not in your hands, anyway, there is no use of thinking or becoming anxious about it. So contentment, shaucha, santosha. And there is tapas, means to burn. Let's say you are studying for a master's degree course. A 2-year course means 4 semesters you are giving. So for all the 4 semesters, right from getting admissions to passing out and getting good marks in the final semester exams, whatever you are doing is called as tapas. Every day maybe you are studying, you are making presentations, you are attending lectures, you are entering into group discussions, you are giving campus placement interviews, so many other resources that you are using. Whatever, see, there is a goal is set. Once you get into a degree course, what is the goal? To pass this degree course with nice grades. So for that goal, whatever you are doing, whatever efforts you are taking, comes under tapas. Similarly, you are in a job, the KRAs are their key responsibility areas. HR will give you these things and you have to meet those areas. So whatever you need to do for that, it comes under the tapas. So in our life, yoga practitioner should do tapas. Whatever is the role that you are playing, whatever is the requirement, hard work and smart work both need to be done. So you need to be a hard working person. That's called as tapas. Shaucha, santosha, tapa, then there is swadhyaya. In simple language for our understanding, swadhyaya means two things. First is self-study. In 24 hours of the day, minimum 5 minutes you should take out for yourself. You should sit in a quiet place, close your eyes and contemplate about whatever is happening in your life or whatever has happened throughout the day, and study yourself. Were you able to give justice to whatever you did throughout the day? That's called as swadhyaya. Minimum 5 minutes a day. The second aspect of swadhyaya is reading good books. Some people are religious people, they read religious books. Some people are motivational speakers, they give out a lot of content. Even watching content that gives you motivation, that gives you good thoughts, that gives you inspiration, everything comes under swadhyaya. So shaucha, santosha, tapa, swadhyaya, and the fifth practice a yoga practitioner should do under niyamas is Ishvara Pranidhana. So the whole world runs. See, if a program needs to be conducted, whole lot of management needs to be there. So when this world is being conducted, since when we don't know. Everything, the sun, the moon rotates around the earth in a certain time, the earth rotates around the sun, all the planets rotate around the sun, our solar system is rotating somewhere in the galaxy. Everything is happening without a single mistake. It's happening. So some higher power, having a faith in some higher power, we need not scrutinize what that is, because according to everyone's belief systems things can be different. But a yoga practitioner having a faith and surrender to that infinite power which is functioning through us all, so that is called as Ishvara Pranidhana for our understanding. So yoga practitioner should practice these 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. After that comes what everybody mostly knows. This is called as asana. So the word asana means to sit, to be in a comfortable posture. Even the sutra says thiram sukham asanam. Right now maybe you are listening to this. If you are sitting in a class, maybe you are sitting on a bench. Whatever is the position that you have taken, if you are comfortable in that position, sukham, and if you are steady in that position, that's called as asana. So in the system of yoga, certain body postures, because as I said, there are 4 aspects to who you are: your body, mind, emotions and energy. For this aspect of body, the body has to get aligned in a certain way. For that, various asanas have been devised by yoga practitioners over thousands of years. There are standing asanas, there are sitting asanas, there are prona asanas, there are supine asanas, there are many asanas. If you type in the word asana in a YouTube video or just in the Google, you'll get the list of so many asanas, the methodologies. You can see those asanas, or you can find a yoga teacher nearby and learn some asanas that will help you. See, the wonderful thing about the asanas is, just a few days ago I was having a conversation with somebody in the yoga class, and there were 2 people. One wanted to get a little fat and one wanted to get a little thin because he was too fat. So for both these people we taught the same set of asanas. and we asked them to observe for 3 months, and after 3 months, you know what happened? The thin person became fat, the fat person became thin. Same asanas they followed. So this is how this mechanism works. This is how the asanas have been devised. So you practice those asanas. uh, for practicing asanas you need an instructor, so we need not show something right over here because it cannot be taught in a hurry. After asana comes the practice of pranayama. Those who watch early morning television, uh, somewhere around 5:30 to 8:30 probably, I think, so many babas and so many people will come and they will show you how to practice pranayamas in a very nice way. So you can learn pranayamas. Pranayama means, prana means your breath. In simple understanding, prana means your breath. Although it has a very deeper meaning, but for our understanding, prana means breath. So regulating and controlling the breath in such a way that you get the maximum energy for your body and your mind to function is called as pranayama. So there are certain methods. See, we have two nostrils through which the inhalation and exhalation is happening. You become aware of that breathing pattern and try to change and align that pattern in such a way that your body functions and your mind functions to its peak potential. So there is a very beautiful pranayama practice as well. You can see it on Google and YouTube, or find a good yoga teacher nearby, and they can teach you some pranayama, basic pranayama practices, which can have a very good impact on your mind, because your mind is connected with your prana. The yogic principles say, if you want to have a stable and balanced mind, a good practice, a 20-minute practice of pranayama is very essential. For your body, of course, as I said, there is asana. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, then comes Pratyahara. Pratyahara, as I said, when we live in this world, we get exposed to so many things. Everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes. Everybody has their choices. So, let's say you're walking somewhere. If you're walking in a lane and you find a pani puri, but you know that the pani puri is not good for your health, but the craving is there. So how do you control that craving? This is a very simple example, but in simple language, pratyahara means controlling the urges of our mind. How do you control them? You don't overpower them or you don't suppress them. You give them a different thoughts. So let's say the pani puri is attracting you. You feed your mind with the thoughts of where are you going. Let's say you are going to attend a conference. Let's say you are going to attend a very uh, nice meeting where deeper things are going to get discussed. So you fill your mind with those thoughts, the different thoughts. So that is called as pratyahara. So practice of pratyahara, pranayama, pratyahara. Then comes the regular part which everybody does. I hope everybody does. Then comes the dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. These three limbs of yoga. So dharana means what? Dharana means concentration. See, attention, lack of attention is a big issue in today's world. So dharana, the sutra says desha bandha chittasya dharana. If you want to study well, you need to concentrate. If you are attending a lecture, if your mind is not there, usually they say in not more than 40 minutes, you cannot concentrate. If you want to enhance your concentration ability, your attention span, you need to practice dharana. Dharana means consciously giving focus to something that you are attending at the present moment. So there are many methods to practice of dharana as well, but in simple terms, let's say right now you are listening to this lecture or watching this lecture, keeping your focus on this lecture. This is called as dharana. Maybe in the evening you will go play a sport. Keeping your focus on the sport at that very moment is called as dharana. There are many methods for that. After dharana comes dhyana. Once the dharana gets developed to such an extent that you get completely immersed, feeling of oneness that comes with something is called as dhyana. If you are attending lectures now, even offline lectures maybe have started. So if you are attending a lecture in a class and you're looking somewhere else and your teacher is talking about something important, and when he glances at you and he sees that you are not attentive, he says, "Aapka dhyan kidhar hai? Where are you looking at?" So that's what called as dhyana. Once you develop a particular focus into something, the focus reaches to such a level that you get identified with that thing, you get immersed in that thing. That's called as dhyana. So for our regular practice, what can be done? 10 minutes a day, 8 or 10 minutes a day. If you are able to sit quietly in a good place, maybe in your home or in your garden or wherever. And if you can observe your breath, that can be a simple meditation of 5 to 10 minutes. There are many complex methods, but you need a teacher for that. Right now, if you go home, if you practice for 10 minutes daily, for 10 minutes, if you can sit quietly in a comfortable posture, stiram sukham asanam, and observe your breath, natural pattern of your breath for 10 minutes, that will put you in a good meditative state, which will be useful for you. Dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Samadhi is a different aspect. For us, samadhi, we can take samadhi as becoming so immersed, getting so immersed into something that there is no difference between the observer and the observed. Once that state is achieved, you become master of that thing. Somebody masters physics. How do they master physics? They get so involved in the practice and in the experimentation of physics that you see that person walking, he says the physics guy is going, the physics is going. So like that, there are many examples. So samadhi means equanimity of your consciousness, equanimity of your intellect. So once you practice the seven limbs, samadhi is the natural outcome of eighth limb. So in this way, you can practice all these eight limbs of yoga. Once you start practicing, let's say without fail, without break, if you practice these things for 3 months, the book says 3 months, you'll see the impact. Initially, what we spoke of balance, confidence, and clarity. These three things will start becoming a part of who you are, your personality. And once the necessary balance is established in yourself, the way you behave, the way you work, the way you think, the way you act in the world becomes a conscious choice and not a compulsive thing. Once you switch from compulsiveness to consciousness, you're on your path to your goal. Not just on the path, but on the highway of your goal. So in this sense, you can practice yoga, you can implement yoga in your life. The importance of yoga, I hope, uh, must be there in your life, because all these years so many practitioners, so many things are being spoken and practiced world over. If you can imbibe all these eight aspects of yoga to a certain extent in your life for 3 months or 6 months, this is not a philosophy, this is a practice. So you have to practice these things for 6 months, and then let us see how things work out for you. There are so many things to learn. So with this hope that everybody will imbibe and implement these practices of yoga. And for learning the physical aspects of yoga, as I said, asana and pranayama, although in today's world, the artificial intelligence is developing, in maybe in few years, this alignment, asana corrections, breathing patterns and alignment, all these things can be done virtually or through mediums of this two-way interactive online mediums. But till then, find a good yoga teacher nearby, learn basic asanas, basic pranayamas, which will help elevate your consciousness, which will help you become grounded in reality, which will help you become healthy, not just in your body, but in your mind, in your emotions, and in your energies. And then you can give 100% in whatever you are doing. That will be the benefit of yoga that you can reap out of a regular practice. So with this, I conclude. Thank you very much.